As promised, we are back with Zachary King, part 2. In the last episode, we left off where Zachary, he worked a number of security jobs, and he was talking to a lady about a jewelry sale, and he thought that she wasn't going to come back. And I'll let Zachary take over from here. Thank you for coming back, man.
Thanks for inviting me back. Glad to be here. So I waited for this woman for 3 hours, and most people that say, you know, I'm shopping with my daughter and some story like that mean I'm going to go find it cheaper someplace else. But I know I work for Piercing Pagoda. We're owned by Zales. You're not going to find it cheaper than here. So 3 hours later, she comes back, and we're doing the transaction, and she gives me the money. She pays for it, and I give her the gold, and she made my day financially. I'm pretty happy.
Zachary, lean back a bit because your mic's gone a bit funny. There we go. Yeah, if you can stay there. Yeah.
Okay. So she, you know, she's. I hand her the receipt, and I say, if you call the 800 number on this receipt and take a survey, you might win $1,000. That's great. I've got something for you too. And she reaches in her purse, and I think, oh my gosh, she's going to pull out a Jack Chick pamphlet, tell me that I'm sinning, and I need to beg God for forgiveness. But I can't do any of those things because I sold my soul to the devil when I was 13. But I figured, you know, she was going to pull out this Jack Chick pamphlet, which are like miniature comic books. So, I mean, I'll read it, and I'll just throw it in the trash. And instead, she reaches in her purse and pulls out this little gold-colored, cheap piece of tin. And I'm looking at that like, I don't know what that is. And then she says the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Now, remember, I partied with rock stars, and I made a lot of rock stars. And so you give somebody that can write poetry or songs unlimited alcohol and drugs, and they will say some strange stuff. I mean, for the people that hear this and doubt that statement, turn on the radio to any top 40 station and listen to what those crazy people are singing about. Katy Perry, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Who cares? Why are you singing about it? Why'd you put it in a song? Or the number one song of either 98 or 99 was Bow It to Bob by Kid Rock. This song came out when he was like 24 years old. This is the song that put him on the map. This is the song that made him basically a rock god. It was the number one song of that year, and it was the number one video on MTV for that year. The chorus of that song is bow it to ba, to dang, diggy diggy, up jumps the boogie. That was it. That song beat out all the other songs that year with those crazy lyrics. So when I said she said the craziest thing I've ever heard, it was crazier than that. She said, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. And I'm thinking, Blessed Mother, Isis, Gaia. I don't know who the Blessed Mother is. I didn't grow up Catholic. You know, I grew up Baptist. There was Mary. What other names did we have? None. Well, what other titles did we have? None. And what did Mary do? She gave birth. What else did she do? In the Baptist church, she did nothing. Know about the first miracle at Cana, turning water into wine, because Baptists don't drink, and we didn't know that her and Joseph and Jesus fled to Egypt. Didn't know anything about that because all Mary did was give birth to Jesus. So I don't have any idea who the Blessed Mother is. And then she says it's very powerful. Protestants don't bless anything. So this woman represents some female deity cult. I don't know who she represents, but I don't want to join her cult and find out they're connected to one of my other two cults. So I'm just kind of listening to her. I just kind of drift off. I go to my happy place. And I think to myself, how do they all find me? Like, everybody that's crazy finds me. Like, there must be a big neon sign above my head that only crazy people can see. And it says, crazy people come here. and has an arrow pointing down to me because they all find me, and all through my entire life. And she's just talking on and on and on, and I'm thinking, all right, I have your money, you have my gold. This was a win-win for both of us. Why are you still here yapping? So I tune her back in, just in time for her to say, it's very powerful again. No, 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 no. I was the High Wizard. You know, there could have been as many as 10 of us, but there also could have been only one. And if I was the only one High Wizard out of, say, 6 or 7 billion people, that's a power trip and a half. And you're trying to tell me that this blessed miraculous metal has more power than I have? You're wrong. You're very wrong. I'm going to prove to you, I'm going to take it in my hand, and I'm going to prove to you that this has no power, no mystique. This thing can't do anything to me. This can't touch me. I am more powerful than this metal will ever be. Like, if God was stronger than me, he'd have stopped me. But he didn't. I was the High Wizard for 12 years. And there's no way that metal is more powerful than I am. So I stick my hand out for it, all ready to take it. I'm ready to prove her wrong. I'm going to toss it on the floor, slam it on my counter, and tell her it's worthless. There's no magic to this. There's no power, no mystique. This can do nothing to me. And if she gets mad and wants to return the gold and get her money back, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'll make that money back on somebody else. And if she wants to complain to me, complain all day long, I'll smile. I don't care. If you want to call my boss is the regional vice president, I'll give you his number or her number, and you have a good conversation. My boss is never going to believe that I was rude to somebody to their face. I made my days, my weeks, my month, my quarter, my half year, and my year. I make money for my company. They're never going to believe I was mean to somebody or rude. They're going to tell me they didn't like your haircut. They didn't like your clothes. They didn't like your tie. They didn't like your cologne. It's not you personally. So I'm not going to be fired over this. I'm not going to be talked to. I'm not going to be written up. And the worst they're going to do, I guess this person's having a bad day. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow's a new day. So I know I can do anything I want. And she's offended me. But I'm not going to show that. I stick my hand down so she can drop this blessed miraculous metal in my hand. Now remember, I'm going to toss it on my floor, slam it on my counter, and tell her it's worthless. I take it in my left hand, and I clench my fist around it, all ready to tell her these things that I have pre-planned in the last 30 seconds. And when I clench my fist around it, my store and my mall completely disappear. I'm standing in a darkened void. This woman, Marianne Wickman, is the only voice I can hear, but I can't see her anymore. There's nothing there. I'm in this darkened void by myself, and Marianne Wickman's voice tells me I did a magic spell last night, and that's of the devil. And I've committed over 100 abortions, and that's of the devil. And I've split over 100 churches, and that's of the devil. And she tells me about 8 or 9 other sins that I've done, and everything ends with, and that's of the devil. Now, when I first went here, I wanted to hit this woman with an energy burst and just knock her backwards. But now that she has transported 2 of us to a darkened void and knows all my sins, you know, if you go back to me being the only one High Wizard, I didn't have the ability to hand somebody a gold-colored, worthless piece of tin, transport both of us to a darkened void, and know all their sins. Her magic is stronger than my magic, and I was the High Wizard. So I'm scared of attacking her. I'm thinking this woman will attack me. She'll destroy me. I can't attack her, but I don't know what to do. Well, what happens if I drop this thing out of my hand and it falls through the void, but so do I? What if I don't find my way? Like right now, I'm holding on to it and nothing's happening to me. Like I'm stuck in this void. But what happens if I drop this thing and I fall through this thing and I never find my way back to my mom? I don't know what to do. I'm sweating. I'm almost in a panic mode. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. And she says again, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. And instantly, like the Holy Spirit just told me that the Mother of God, or the Blessed Mother, is the Mother of God. I was a former Baptist. We would rather shoot ourselves in the face with a shotgun than say Mother of God. And as soon as I realized that it was the Mother of God, Mary appeared to me. She is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And she smiled at me. And I knew I did not deserve that smile. I was acutely aware of my 146 assisted abortions. The exact number. I knew I was guilty. And she smiled at me. And she took me by the hand that had the miraculous medal in it. And she turned me around. And Divine Mercy Jesus was standing behind me. I didn't know what Divine Mercy was. I had these rays of light that were shooting around me and over me and under me and through me. And in that instant, I knew I did not sell my soul to the devil when I was 13. I knew that Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. I knew that all my magic, my occult, my New Age, and my Satanism was fake, false. And I knew everything Catholic was truth. And the Blessed Mother told me my job was to help her end abortion. And I opened my hand. I was back in my store, back in my mall. And this woman, Mary Ann Wickman, is still talking to me. And she tells me where she goes to Mass. And she tells me that she is the personal assistant to Father Joseph Whalen with the St. Raphael Healing Oil Ministry. And that he's the busiest priest she knows. And she's so busy, he doesn't even have time to talk to her. And then while she's talking to me, her cell phone rings. She looks down, she goes, well, this is Father Joe, I've got to take it. I'm like, well, yeah, you just told me, I'm like, go ahead, take your time. So she's talking to him. And at that time, Father Joe was starting to go deaf. So he talked like everybody was going deaf. So I could hear everything he said. So she's talking, she's like, hello, Father Joe. Can you hand the phone to the young man you're talking to? She's like, sure thing. So she hands me the phone. I'm shaking like Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know. How's he know to call? And I'm like, hello? Welcome to the faith. Hand the phone back to Marianne. So I hand the phone back and he hangs up on her. Her daughter comes up to the counter and she says, would you go out to the truck and bring this man one of each of everything? She's like, okay. She runs out. We get 2 more phone calls like the first one. And then the daughter comes back in with a big paper grocery bag of why do Catholics do this or believe that? Like 125 Lighthouse Catholic media discs and a Catholic Bible. And that day I got home and told my wife, she's my ex-wife now, that I'm Catholic now. And she was Jehovah's Witness and they're very anti-Catholic. And so she was very mad at me for that. But the very next day she supported me. She went to daily Mass with me. And at the consecration, I saw Jesus. I thought if you were Catholic, everybody was seeing Jesus. And so my ex-wife is sitting next to me. I was like, did you see that? She was, what? I said, that man up there on the stage. She was, that's the priest. I said, no, the other guy. She was, I don't see another guy. I said, you don't see it because you're not Catholic. But then it turned out that no one else in the room was seeing it either. It was just a grace for me. And then this woman told me there's a place I can go called Perpetual Adoration. And I can see Jesus anytime I want. And I was like, no way. There's got to be like a sign-up sheet for that. Like I'll sign my name to it now. And in like 4 years, they'll tell me, your 4 or 6 hour block of time is coming up on this date. And if you miss it, you don't have another chance for 4 years. And they're like, no, it's not like that. I said, no, there's no way. There's a line to get in to see Elvis. He's been dead over 40 years. And she was like, no, you just show up. So we got there. Shock number one, we were the only other car in the parking lot. Shock number two, there's no line to get in. And shock number three, we walk inside. It's not packed. It's me, my ex-wife, some woman, and Jesus. And this woman looks at us like a deer in the headlights, packs her bags as fast as she can go. Now, if this was an Olympic event, she got gold. And she said, you can't leave till someone else comes in. And bam, she's out the door. And I thought, why would I leave? I'm in a room with Jesus. That became my hangout every day. I'd be there anywhere from 30 minutes to 18 hours. It was the greatest experience. I did that for 2 or 3 years. I loved going. And I even, when I was solidly Catholic, my dad told me, we were at Adoration. My dad was Baptist. And I pulled into the Adoration Chapel. And I said, I'll be in here for probably an hour. Do you want me to leave the car running and the air on or the windows down? And he said, this is the Adoration Chapel? I said, yeah. He goes, I'd like to go in to see what all the hubbub's about. You and your wife talk about it every damn day. And I was like, okay. He goes, I want to see what the big deal is. So I brought my dad in the Adoration Chapel. And we have the type of chapel that the monstrance door closes. So you close that, turn off the candle, turn off all the lights, and leave. And the next person comes in, they turn on all the lights, light the candle, and open the door, genuflect and all that. So I did that. I opened it all up. My dad's sitting on the back pew. And our largest family in the church is a Mexican family. And they have like 15 children, I think. And then the husband and wife. So all of them showed up to Adoration. My dad is a former Marine and is very big on respect. So they all respected him nicely when they came in. So he really liked them. And he's watching everybody genuflect. He doesn't know what genuflection is. So he's watching them all genuflect, cross themselves, and sit down on the pews. When it was time to leave, I asked the man if he knew how to shut everything down, and he said yes. So then I left it in his capable hands, and then I walked back, got my dad, and we walked out to the car. We got in the car, and I cranked the car up. I said, so what did you think of that room? And he says, it's very strange. I've never been to a room before where I felt peace and joy and love in a room where it's just you. He said, I live with you at the house. I don't feel those things all the time with you or with your mother or with your wife, with my other son. I don't feel any of that. But when I'm in that room, I felt all those things. And I don't have any idea why. And I said, well, how the Baptist church believes that the Spirit of God is everywhere? He goes, yes. I said, so of course we have the Spirit of God in that room too. He goes, okay. I said, but the extra thing that we have that your church doesn't is that we have the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord Jesus Christ. Did you see that big metal thing on the wall that I opened the door? When I opened the door, it looked like there's a giant round cookie in it. He said, yes. I said, that's the body and blood of Christ. I said, we have that in the Catholic Church. No other church has it. And I said, proof that we have it? Satanists steal ours, and they don't touch the other 66,000 Protestant denominations' Wonder Bread. They steal ours and then sell it for between $1,500 and $15,000. And if they don't have one, they won't do a Black Mass. And the Black Mass mocks the Catholic Mass. You don't hear them hosting a Black Presbyterian service or a Black Baptist service or a Black Mormon service or a Black Jehovah's Witnesses service. It's a Black Mass. It mocks the Catholic Mass. And they steal our consecrated host and they can tell that it's been consecrated. So, because, I said, I was at one of my conferences and I said, okay, so what about this? Why don't you do this? To make money, you're trying to do a fundraiser for the Catholic Church. Go to the Catholic bookstore and buy a Sabor. And here in the States, probably they cost around $400 now, since Bidenomics happened. They used to be about $325. And then buy a box of unconsecrated wafers. You get like 100 of them for $10. So this investment will cost you $410. But then go to a satanic temple and tell them, hey, I've got this Saborum filled with 100 consecrated wafers that you guys charge $15,000 to have it for your Black Mass, which would be, how much is that? 15,000 times 100? Would that be like $1.5 million, or is it 150,000? Yeah, it'd be $1.5 million. So instead of charging you that, I'll charge you $1,000 a piece. It'll cost you $100,000. Now, the reason you can't get away with that is that they would open the Saborum and feel that the wafers haven't been consecrated. There's nothing holy there. When they feel a consecrated host, they feel anger, resentment, pain, hatred, everything negative, because Satanists don't have true love. True love comes from God, and they don't like God. That's their enemy. So they would know, and then you would probably die from trying to steal $100,000 from them. But notice once again, they don't make fun of any of the other churches. They only hold Black Masses, and they only steal our Eucharist. And if they don't have a Eucharist, they don't hold a Black Mass. So I heard you're Catholic. I heard you belong to the Roman Church.
Yep. I can hear some noise. Yes.
He's hearing noise. I guess not, but
it's okay. We're fine right now, Zachary. I was raised Catholic, and I used to be an altar boy.
Okay, congratulations. Well, once you've got, I assume you got baptized Catholic?
Yes.
But once you've got God's thumbprint on your soul, you can't take it off. So eventually I hope to see you in heaven one day. Or maybe we can hang out in purgatory.
That would be lovely. I would hope so as well. Did the Satanists try to get you back?
I don't know how much of my satanic attack is Satan and how many of it is God trying to keep me close to him. So if you don't know, I'm missing my right foot, so I'm in a wheelchair almost all the time. I have a prosthetic foot, but I haven't learned to walk yet. And I'm not allowed to right now because I have a wound on my left foot, and they don't want me putting pressure on it. I'm missing my left toe, my left small toe on my left foot. I've torn my ACL, I think twice, in one of my knees, and I've torn my meniscus in both my knees. I tore my rotator cuff at one time. Both my shoulders hurt periodically. I pinched a sciatic nerve probably 20-something years ago. That still hurts once in a while. In 2013, I broke my tailbone. That still hurts once in a while. I have fibromyalgia and arthritis, and I found out recently I've got nerve damage in both my hands and both my arms. And I can't fix those for another year. And then even if they do the surgery on me, that's not a guarantee that it'll work. So, and then I'm blind, and I'm on dialysis. Think of anything else that's wrong, honey? Oh, that started off with that. I don't know. You know your body is in a lot of pain. Yeah, I know. I'm in a lot of pain. So
The viewers are asking, how did you get all these injuries?
torn rotator happened when I was a manager at a hotel, and the season was October. But it was September, October, November. We would get bus tours, and we didn't have anybody to unload all the bags as quickly as they could and take them to the rooms. And a bus holds about 100 people, and their luggage is about 250 pieces. And we would get 5 buses at a time. So I'd be working really hard with other people, but the other people was one person. And so I'm unloading and dragging the things to rooms, and then when they leave, you're throwing all the bags onto the bus, and I tore my rotator cuff doing that. I lost the foot because I had a sore on the bottom of my foot, and it was being treated, but even though it was being treated and cleaned, and I had surgery once on it, it got an infection, and then that resulted in me getting gangrene. And when I got gangrene, that foot had to go. When I had an infection in a bone in my left foot, the bone that's on the side of the foot down below the little toe. And they had to do surgery and take that bone out. And they said that once they took that bone out, my little toe would just flop over. And I was going to get it caught on stuff and get it broken and hurt in many different ways. And they said it would save me a lot of future pain if they did that. Dialysis comes after you've been diabetic for a long time, and things just start to go wrong. And I had a lot of really good food, but bad for me, and a lot of alcohol that I shouldn't have had, and a lot of drugs that I shouldn't have had. And that shut down my kidneys. My pancreas shut down because and I didn't eat a lot of sweets. I just ate a lot of starchy foods. So when it turns into starch, that's pure sugar. So my pancreas ended up shutting down. I went blind because I'm diabetic, and that's how I lost my vision. My fibromyalgia, I've heard, is from child sexual trauma. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it's one of the possible causes. And I have arthritis because I'm dumb, and I didn't listen to my parents when they said, don't crack your knuckles. I crack my knuckles a lot, and I've got arthritis, but I didn't pop my hips or my knees, and I've got arthritis in those places too. And the nerve damage, I don't know how I got.
Next question is from Lady of the Lake. Have you ever seen a demon leave a person's body, and what did it look like?
I've been to a lot of exorcisms, and I pray 2 different prayers while I'm there, and we've gotten rid of demons before, but you don't see them physically leave. You suddenly realize that demon's no longer in the room. So they were exorcised successfully. We don't see the demon leave. We just don't hear him anymore.
All right. Next
question. I have seen demons in other places, though, not at exorcisms. And it wasn't that I didn't see a demon leave a person. I just saw the demon himself.
Next question is, what helps you with your pain?
Prayer. I got permission from my spiritual director to take a pain reliever, but I didn't want to take. There's so many opioid ones that if you start taking them, you'll get addicted. So I found a pain reliever that's non-addictive, and I wanted to make sure it was okay for me to take. So my spiritual director gave me permission to take it. So whenever I buy them, I take them to a priest and I get them blessed, since I have permission to take them. And they're non-addictive, but they do relieve. They don't take my pain away. They take the edge off my pain. And I'm in pain every day. But I don't take them before I go to Mass, and I go to daily Mass. So I don't take them then. And like when I'm having this interview, I'm not on them now. I just take them whenever I'm not talking to somebody on the phone, or I'm not doing an interview, or I'm not making a podcast or a video, anything like that, then I take them. Because my pain is very intense all the time. But pretty much I offer up all my pain. So hopefully I'm bringing a lot of souls into heaven, or getting souls out of purgatory, or getting souls into the church, with all my offering it up. Hopefully when I get to heaven and it's my judgment time, Mary will come and say, I don't want him to go to hell. This is how many people he brought into the church. This is, what he's done. There's supposed to be